All right, Mike, thank you so much for joining us today. Now, you've spent almost 2 decades with this program. Has anything comparable to this situation ever happened in your career?
No, 9/11, my first year coaching, was a traumatic couple weeks.
Hmm.
Changed our schedule. We had to cancel a couple tournaments, but no, I mean that's the closest it's come to this. This is a whole new animal right here.
How are you adjusting to this new normal, and have you had a chance to talk with any of your players yet?
Yeah, for me, I'm adjusting, trying to predict for the future, and trying to work on things in advance and try to be proactive. But when you don't know how things are going to turn out or what twist this whole saga is going to take, it's kind of hard to plan forward. But um, I met all my guys before they left town. Before they left, it was a quick exit, obviously. So they were told to get out and go back home and have that social distancing thing going on. So they're home and safe. I just verified again today. They've all gotten home. Some of them drove home. Some flew home. Two of them are currently on campus riding this thing out because they're international players, so they can't go home. So I've talked to all of them. We had a little goodbye before they left, and we just keep in touch through text messages, and I've talked to the parents as well. And it's just one of those things you got to take as it comes, and just make the best of it.
Yeah, so what's the situation with that you have with the international players? Is there any uh, you know, things that's are they going to be able to go home at some point, or are they pretty much stuck on campus till further notice?
Well, they're stuck on campus because back home, the coronavirus is worse than it is here.
Right.
So for them to go home, and then the travel going home was very difficult as well. And also, if they were to go home, there's always the issues that they may not be able to come back in a timely fashion. Who knows what the future of this thing is? So with air
Hmm.
travel shut down, so Jerry and Adrian decided it was in their best interest academically, and also just for what they're doing in the future to stay on campus and attend to their studies and ride it out here.
Now, what has been the conversation like with some of your seniors? Are you encouraging them to maybe take that extra year of eligibility, or are you pushing, to go pro?
Well, it's funny because I don't know if that extra year of eligibility is even for sure yet. I think
Hmm.
they're talking about it. It's in the social media, and it's in public pretty strong. And I think there's a great case for that. And we've talked about if that happens. And yeah, I have talked to them, and it is going to be their decision though. And I got to be careful not to try to encourage them too much or recruit them too well, because they need to think forward for their careers and for what they want to do in their own private life and what their goals and aspirations are. And if they think through it and they want to come back, we would welcome them back with open arms. But I think it's wrong for me to sit there and try to actively recruit them to come back if it doesn't really mix or match their plans for the future. But they know there's a home here for another year if they want to. And our team was playing pretty good this spring. We were rocking and rolling and making some good progress, and they were all excited. They were working very hard, and for them to have it just abruptly end like that was a tough day. It was a lot of emotions. You can just see the fatigue and the disappointment on their faces it's still probably still there. But when that first news came, it was pretty traumatic. And so I'm letting them I'm giving them some space, letting them know that this is a home for them for one more year if they'd want to come and continue to build what we've been doing. But if they don't, we'll support them as well.
Right. So obviously, difficult decisions for those seniors to make. Do you see a guy like Michael Fiegels? Does he have the potential to go pro, or do you see players maybe needing an extra year if it is available?
Well, I see both. I see both, and again, that's I think both of our seniors, all three of our seniors, could benefit from staying, but they could also go pro and be successful as well. So the golf career, the professional golf career, is not a 1 or 2 or 3 year window. It's a 10 to 15 year window, and if you're having success, you can play professionally for 30 years. So it's something that you can't really gauge. Look in the short term, you got to plan, and when they turn professional, they're laying the foundation for a great future. Hopefully, they can make some money right away when they get out and compete. But if they don't, you're still racking up experience and racking up knowledge and building your game to where it can be better and good and successful and good enough to compete at the PGA Tour level in 3, 4, 5 years. So you can look at it both ways. They can get better here, earning some more degrees. They're all going to graduate on time.
Hmm.
They're all really good students, so that's not an issue there. So they want to stay and work on their game and compete in college and get another degree, or do they want to take it to the tour ranks and the pros and see how they can do? And again, it's their decision. I will support them 100%. Obviously, we'd love to have them, But if they chose differently, then I would support that too.
Right. And now you do have a very underclassmen heavy team. Is that maybe a positive thing? As I know you mentioned you were building, a great season. How does maybe having that youth set you up to continue the building blocks for next season?
Well, I think youth is always good to have. You're always planning for the future. It's kind of your safeguard, your safety net for 2 and 3 years down the road, because if you have a young team and they're playing a lot, that bodes well for their experience. But this whole extra year thing might affect them too. They might get an extra year as well. So we're all trying to play this thing or listen to what they say and then play it to our advantage, how our team can be successful down the road. But this is just a difficult time. There's really not a lot to do right now except hypothesize what you think might happen and just stay in contact with your team. And our young guys got potential. They got some talent, but they know they still need to grow and improve as players. And that's the fun of this whole thing. That's the fun of playing college golf, is to watch these guys improve.
Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, the NCAA had suspended team activities until into April, but golf maybe is a unique sport in the sense that you can kind of maybe practice a little bit of that social distancing and still get out and hit the links. Have you spoken to your players about maybe pursuing that at all?
Well, they're not allowed to practice or play here on campus, and
Right.
we're not allowed to coach them. I'm not allowed to be involved with them. But yeah, I would encourage them, if they're at home and they're still following the rules of the government and the suggestions of our CDC to distance themselves, so they can get out and hit some golf balls in a field or work on their game. By all means, they should find things they love to do. You shouldn't stop living at the same point in time, but you got to follow the rules. So
Yeah.
I hope they're following the rules. I hope they're resting and staying out of harm's way and also inflicting other people or passing it around. Who knows if they have it or not? Nobody really knows. But I would encourage them to chase their dreams, to still stay involved in the game mentally. But they have to study. They have to still, they're still taking classes online, and they're still working that aspect of their life. So that's very important that they continue to do that too.
Now, what's next for you on the agenda? What are you kind of doing right now to navigate through this whole situation?
I'm just trying to gather as much information as I can, and I don't think there's not a lot right now to gather. So again, I'm thinking of different scenarios that may be happening with our roster, with our team, with our scheduling next year. And recruiting wise, we can't get out and recruit. We can talk on the phone, which we've been doing, but you can't get out and scout and critique and evaluate players. So we're in a holding pattern of sorts, but there's still stuff you can do. And I think the teams and the coaches that still do some work and still kind of plan for the future and kind of have alternative plans to different avenues this thing may take can come out of this maybe in a positive light. But people that know me and know my staff and my team, we're not the kind of people that just sit around and wait and react. We like to be proactive, but that's tough to do in this climate because we're waiting for directions from our administration and from the government what to do.
All right. Well, Mike, anything else for us, or I think we got it all?
No, I just wish everybody health out there and happiness, and we'll get through this thing. It's tough. It's depressing. It's I don't know enough about it, and so I can't really give an opinion on it because I don't know enough. That wouldn't be an educated thing to say. But I just pray for everybody and stay positive, and this is going to come to an end sometime here soon.
Yeah, well, we certainly hope so. Well, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate you getting on this call with me today.
Thanks a lot. Take care.
Thanks.